What are you capable of? Do you even know? If you haven't started pursuing your potential, you don't even know. And too often than not, we're so caught up in what we have done, which may have nothing to do with us. Title at work, status in the community, political influence or position, but who we are. What we're capable of gets lost because we don't have a sense of what it is, number one. Number two, so if we don't have a sense of what it is, we have no idea, no range, no sense of what's possible if I actually just live who I am. So instead, we just stick with whatever status quo is. We be like everybody else is. How do you sleep at night? Oh, we don't, which is one of the reasons why we have high sleep deprivation, high addictions to pornography, to substance, all at the cost of not pursuing our potential. This is why it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal that you know who you are, because if you don't, you become part of the problem. Yeah, no, see, it doesn't work for you to just to have a job and make someone else wealthy. I'm not against jobs. I'm saying you're in the way of someone who would be there, who really wants to be in that position that could transform that company because it's their purpose. So what happens? What happens if you don't pursue your purpose? What's at stake? I think that's the challenge. Many of us have never considered it. I would even wager to say we don't care. Now, I know that may sound a little harsh, but the reality is if you never start going down that path, or you make excuses about it being hard, then you miss out. So I want to use this video to give you an idea, just a glimpse of what's at stake. What happens if you decide, I'm not interested? I would rather keep believing the lie that's been told to me, about my situation, than to break it all up, start all over from scratch, protect my ego, or destroy my ego for the sake of just unpacking truth. Well, let's Google this. It'll be fun. Let's chat GPT. 5 things that happen when one does not choose to pursue their purpose. Let's see what comes up. When someone chooses not to pursue their purpose, number one, lack of fulfillment. Many of us have been so comfortable chasing a dream, chasing possibility, chasing an item, a person, a thing, that's become our norm. And once we've got any layer of those things, we buy into the lie. You know that beautiful lie? Just be grateful. Completely blown out of context. Just be grateful. Now, I'm not saying gratitude is a negative thing. I mean, I have a tattoo. I believe in it. But we often come up with a lot of BS that makes us feel good so that we learn to cope with the drama. Oh, people have it worse than you do. Okay, but what's that have to do with you? Oh, you should be grateful for what you got. How long are you willing to live chasing things you don't even want? False senses of status. I used to be driving a Cadillac, now it's driving a Benz or Maserati or Range Rover. Oh, by the way, I like Maseratis and I like Range Rovers, but they don't define me. The pursuit of things can only lead to lack of fulfillment. Because fulfillment is not an outward based thing, it's an internal state that's cultivated by you, that's derived by your spirit, that's derived from your vision, that brings about tranquility. We say in Spanish, tranquilo, chill. Maybe not the same word, but like calmness. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about fulfillment. Calmness on the inside. And if we're chasing things that erode, right? They essentially decay and get older, can get broken. Then what are we doing? I mean, when I grew up in the 70s, did I say that out loud? They had plastic over the furniture. And I know some people today still have plastic over their furniture. The idea was to protect the furniture from ever getting old or looking bad. What were they protecting? Nice crushed velvet, beautiful fabrics. They wanted to make sure it lasted for the eye. But the behinds, when it got hot, your butt sweated. So then are you really enjoying? No, only for the eyes. Only for the eyes, the ojos. How long will you or I keep looking for fulfillment outside of ourselves? Well, when you don't pursue purpose, it's the only thing that's left. Because you're told what you should have or not have. And that establishes who you are versus cultivating what's inside of you. to become who you are or to unleash who you are. The definition says, without actively working towards their purpose, individuals may feel a persistent sense of dissatisfaction or emptiness. Wow, man. What do empty people do? Let's just think about this for a minute. Let's push the envelope just a little bit. What do mindless people do? Yeah, you're right. Anything that comes to their mind. So when you don't choose to pursue your purpose, you become like a lawless one or a mindless one or one that's empty on the inside. So therefore, you'll do anything necessary on the outside. You might kill somebody, but I'm talking about work more hours that you don't need to work, spend less time with the people that actually matter in your life. You see how this rabbit hole goes deep really, really fast? You're willing to do stuff you don't like doing. My brother used to say, how much money are they paying you to give up on your dream? This lack of fulfillment is a real thing. But most of us stay there because we're not willing to do the work, take the risk, the embarrassment, or the sight transformation required because we want to uphold this fantasy and we end up empty. Second thing, lost potential. What are you capable of? Do you even know? If you haven't started pursuing your potential, you don't even know. And too often than not, we're so caught up in what we have done, which may have nothing to do with us. Title at work, status in the community, political influence or position, but who we are. What we're capable of gets lost because we don't have a sense of what it is, number one. Number two, so if we don't have a sense of what it is, we have no idea, no range, no sense of what's possible if I actually just live who I am. So instead, we just stick with whatever status quo is. We be like everybody else is. How do you sleep at night? Oh, we don't, which is one of the reasons why we have high sleep deprivation, high addictions to pornography, to substance, all at the cost of not pursuing our potential. This is why it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal that you know who you are, because if you don't, you become part of the problem. Yeah, no, see, it doesn't work for you to just to have a job and make someone else wealthy. I'm not against jobs. I'm saying you're in the way of someone who would be there, who really wants to be in that position that could transform that company because it's their purpose. Number three. Oh, let me read the definition. They say each person has unique talents and skills and perspectives that contribute to their purpose. When they don't pursue it, they may never fully realize their potential or make the impact they're capable of. This can lead to feelings of regret or unfulfilled aspirations later in life. How many of you are still blaming your spouse, still blaming your parents for what you didn't do? That's what they're talking about. When we don't hone in and focus, what do you expect? I'm messing with you because I want you to start really taking it in, really taking on the necessity for you to unpack who you are. Number four. Oh, number three. Difficulty in decision making. Golly. When you're not pursuing your purpose, it's then left up to who can tickle your ear. That's a phrase meaning who can make it sound the best. Who can tickle your ear the most? I had a conversation with a peer tonight about government and how government isn't designed to actually care about the people. It's designed to protect itself. And we kind of went back and forth on some stuff. And ultimately, it came down to, I said, he's like, where'd you hear that information? You see, you got that on social media. And he was attempting to degrade my sources. So I got that because I understand it. I've been him. So I said, well, where do you get your sources? American News? Touche. He knew exactly what I was talking about. And I understood where he was. It was difficult to believe, well, but if I go down that rabbit hole, then there's so many things are going to open. Well, do you really want to unpack truth, or do you want to just follow what? And if you're following what they say and it doesn't align with who you are, then it's going to be difficult to make choices that are in alignment with what you're up to. So you're going to have conflict. You might even compromise your morality because of a given situation. They used to say, if you don't stand for some things, you'll fall for anything. Well, I don't know if that's 100% true. But I do know when it comes to making decisions, if you're not in alignment with who you are and your purpose, then you are indifferent. You cannot make a concrete choice, and or you may feel insecure but succumb to peer pressure, work pressure, adult pressure, whatever you want to call it. They wrote it this way: without a clear sense of purpose, decision making can become more challenging. Individuals may struggle to prioritize their goals. This can lead to indecisiveness and lack of direction in both personal and professional life. So you're just gonna live life however. Whatever oh, this is what a dumb phrase. Whatever's meant for me is meant to be. Um, I like it, but it's also BS. What are you doing in your life to cultivate your life? Otherwise, yeah, you get what comes your way, but was that meant for you? Or is that a result of your lack of decisiveness? In my book, Monday Again, I talk about the power of choice. If you're not making choices, then they're being made for you, whether you like it or not. And the default choice is not in your favor. Number four, increase stress and anxiety. Well, that's a no brainer. Increase stress and anxiety. Well, when you have increased stress, you're more likely to get sick. But increased stress. Think about your life. When you're stressed, what do? Do you yell at your loved ones? Maybe say things you don't mean to say. Act out of desperation. Make stupid choices. I'm just saying. It's what we do. Because we're then acting out of a primitive survival state as if the world is caving in. That's what stress can do to us. What about anxiety? Now we're uncertain of who we are. We're not showing up because we know we're disconnected from who we really are. And we're always wondering, what do they think about what we're saying? So we can't sleep, rest, talk, be in peace because we're distracted from us because of the anxiety. Now we got to take meds, which also have side effects, which then impacts how we show up for work, how we interact, how we have sexual connection. Oh, yeah, all this matters. So then you got to go take another pill. These are things that you can control by simply doing the hard work to undo, to discover who you are, who you've been, and unpack it. It's so doable. Is it fun? Is it exciting? Quite honestly, it is. But you got to take it on. And unless you take it on, you don't get to discover it. You're stuck with whatever shows up. Here's what it reads: ignoring one's purpose can lead to increased stress and anxiety, as individuals may feel disconnected from themselves and their goals. The disconnect can manifest as feelings of restlessness, unease, or a constant sense of searching for something they just can't quite identify. Number five, impact on well-being and relationships. I've already started talking about that. I've already started talking about how your relationships show up, how you're not going to be present, how you're going to be more short-tempered with the people you say you love. It doesn't make sense that you would treat your family worse than you treat the people in the street. But when you don't know who you are, where your source comes from, you'll throw your family in the trash can. No can do. Because the purpose someone who's in purpose, yeah, if there's a family member that is a problem, you can make adjustments for that, but that's not what I'm talking about. And tell me, isn't, let me let you know or remind you, it isn't always your family, which is why it's important that you walk in purpose so you can more adequately discern what is and isn't for you. Here's what they want to say: neglecting one's purpose can have ripple effects on overall well being and relationships. It may lead to feelings of resentment, bitterness, or jealousy towards others who are actively pursuing their passions. Additionally, without a sense of purpose, individuals may struggle to build meaningful connections with others who share similar values and interests. Listen, this is your coach. I so believe in you that this is why I do what I do. And I'm so passionate about you getting that, you unpacking it, you discovering who you are. And it's not just about you. My life's going to be better when you show up because there's something in you that I can learn. So start showing up. You want to have more conversations like this? Sounds like a plan to me. Click the subscribe button below. Join my free VIP group. Hang out here on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to my channel if you will. Like the post, comment below, or share with somebody you know and love. I appreciate you. Can't wait to connect. Peace.